Forget everything movies taught you about the Wild West. Forget shiny guns, slow walks in the street, and clean duels where two men politely wait for a bell. That world never existed. The real Wild West was dirty, loud, and cruel. Fights started without warning. Bullets flew in dark alleys, crowded saloons, and open plains where help never came. In that world, your revolver was not decoration. It was the only thing standing between you and a shallow grave. So stay with this video till the end, because these are not famous movie guns. These are the real revolvers that decided who lived and who died. These weapons were chosen for one reason only. They worked when everything else failed. Some were fast. Some were powerful. Some terrified enemies before a shot was even fired. And some changed history forever. This is not about beauty. This is about survival. 20-star double-action revolver. The unexpected rapid-fire killer. Before most people even understood what fast shooting meant, this revolver was already doing it. The Star double-action revolver appeared in the late 1850s, long before many famous names ruled the gun world. At a time when most revolvers needed the hammer pulled back by hand before every shot, this weapon allowed something shocking. You could keep pulling the trigger and the gun would keep firing. This single feature changed everything. In a fight where seconds decided life or death, speed mattered more than accuracy. A man with this revolver could fire all 6 shots without stopping, while his enemy was still trying to pull the hammer back again and again. On the battlefield, that difference was deadly. The Star was a large .44 caliber revolver, meaning each shot carried serious force. Union soldiers quickly noticed its advantage during the Civil War. Cavalry units especially loved it, because mounted fights were fast and chaotic. There was no time for careful aiming. You needed to shoot first and keep shooting. But this power came with problems. The trigger pull was long and heavy. Under stress, many soldiers fired too fast and missed. The inside parts were also more complex than other revolvers. Dirt, dust, and poor cleaning could cause failures. Still, in close fights, this revolver shocked enemies who were not ready for such fast fire. After the war, many of these revolvers moved west with soldiers and settlers. Cowboys who learned how to control that heavy trigger became extremely dangerous in close-range fights. Today, surviving examples show heavy wear, proof that they were not display pieces. They were used hard, exactly as they were meant to be. 19 Colt Patterson, the gun that started everything. Every revolution begins with a rough first step, and this revolver was exactly that. The Colt Patterson was strange, fragile, and difficult to use. Yet without it, the Wild West as we know it would never have existed. Introduced in the 1830s, this revolver was unlike anything people had seen. It held 5 shots instead of 1. That alone was enough to change combat forever. Before this gun, a man fired once and then relied on luck or a knife. With the Patterson, a man could stay in the fight. The design was odd. It had no trigger guard. The trigger only appeared when the hammer was pulled back. Reloading required taking the entire gun apart. If something broke, there were no spare parts nearby. Many people hated it. But the Texas Rangers saw something others did not. When facing fast-moving enemies on horseback, having multiple shots meant survival. Rangers armed with a Patterson could fire again and again while their enemies expected them to be helpless after one shot. This advantage allowed them to fight in ways that were impossible before. The revolver had serious flaws. It broke easily. It was slow to reload. The company that made it even went bankrupt. But the idea was planted. A repeating handgun was the future. Every revolver that came after learned from the Patterson's mistakes. Stronger frames. Better loading systems. Easier handling. This gun may not have ruled the frontier, but it opened the door. Without it, none of the deadly revolvers that followed would exist. The Wild West was not isolated. Ideas, weapons, and danger flowed in from everywhere. While Americans were still pouring powder and pressing lead balls into cylinders, foreign gunmakers were already thinking ahead. Faster loading. Faster killing. And when those weapons reached the frontier, they changed fights forever. These next revolvers were not born in dusty towns. They arrived from across the ocean, and once they did, the West was never the same again. 18. LeMat Pinfire Revolver. The Cartridge Shock. For most frontier fighters, loading a revolver was slow and stressful. Powder. Ball. Capital repeat again and again. In a real fight, that process felt like a death sentence. Then came the pinfire revolver, and suddenly everything changed. This revolver used metal cartridges instead of loose powder and caps. Each cartridge held everything inside it. Powder, bullet, and ignition all in one piece. That meant reloading could be done in seconds instead of minutes. In a gunfight, that difference was enormous. The pinfire got its name from the small metal pin sticking out of each cartridge. When the hammer hit the pin, the round fired. European officers brought these revolvers to America during wartime, and from there they slowly spread into civilian hands. Frontier men who owned one had a clear advantage. While others struggled to reload under pressure, pinfire users could break open the gun, drop in fresh rounds, and keep fighting. In close-range fights, this speed often decided the winner. But this power came with danger. Those exposed pins were sensitive. A hard knock could set off a round. Carrying pinfire ammo in a pocket or belt was risky. One bad fall or careless move could end your life before a fight even started. Despite the risk, this revolver proved one important truth. The future belonged to cartridge guns. Once people saw how fast and clean this system was, there was no going back. The days of powder flasks and loose caps were numbered. 17. Beaumont Adams revolver. The double-action nightmare. Imagine facing a man who does not stop shooting. No pause. No hammer pulling. Just shot after shot, fast and relentless. That fear became real when the Beaumont Adams revolver reached the frontier. This revolver allowed true double-action firing. That meant one simple motion. Pull the trigger. The gun fired and prepared the next shot automatically. Against traditional revolvers, this felt unfair. While one man carefully prepared his next shot, the other was already firing again. The sound alone caused panic. Rapid gunfire made opponents believe they were facing more than one shooter. In close fights, hesitation was fatal. Many gunfights ended not because of better aim, but because fear took over. This revolver became popular with soldiers and experienced fighters who understood its value. Speed mattered more than perfect accuracy when bullets were flying. Cavalry fights, street clashes, and saloon brawls all favored fast shooting weapons. But this revolver demanded skill. The trigger pull was heavy. Without practice, shots went wild. The inside parts were more complex, meaning dirt and poor care could cause trouble. Still, in trained hands, this revolver was terrifying. Gamblers and professionals who lived by quick reactions loved it. In dark rooms and crowded places, the ability to fire fast without extra movement could end a fight before it truly began. Not every man in the Wild West was famous. Most were ordinary people trying to survive. Settlers, shop owners, travelers, gamblers, and workers all faced danger daily. They needed guns that worked, guns they could afford, and guns they could carry without drawing attention. These next revolvers did not become legends because of flashy stories. They became deadly because they were always there when trouble started. 16. Whitney Navy revolver. The working man's gun. Not everyone could afford the most famous revolvers of the time. Some guns were simply too expensive for ordinary people. That is where the Whitney Navy revolver entered the story. This revolver looked familiar. It was similar in size and shape to popular naval revolvers, but it cost less. It was built to work, not to impress. The finish was rougher. The details were simpler. But when the trigger was pulled, it fired. Chambered in .36 caliber, it offered enough power to stop a threat at close and medium range. It was accurate enough for defense and strong enough to survive hard use. During wartime, thousands were purchased as secondary weapons. Afterward, many moved west with soldiers returning to civilian life. On the frontier, this 15 Colt pocket revolver, the hidden lifesaver. Not every fight happened in the open. Many started at card tables, inside rooms, or in narrow alleys where there was no space to draw a large gun. In those moments, size mattered more than power. That is where the Colt pocket revolver became deadly. This revolver was small, light, and easy to hide. Chambered in a smaller caliber, it was not meant for long-distance shooting. It was meant for sudden danger. Close danger. The kind that gave no warning. Gamblers loved this gun. Sitting at a table with a large revolver on your belt made others nervous. But a hidden pocket revolver kept intentions secret. Trouble could be handled before anyone realized a weapon was present. Travelers also trusted it. 14. Colt Dragoon, the mounted hand cannon. The Colt Dragoon was not meant for concealment. It was meant for destruction. This revolver was built for mounted fighters who needed serious stopping power in open combat. Heavy, large, and intimidating, it was one of the most powerful handguns of its time. Chambered in .44 caliber, the Dragoon fired a heavy lead ball with a strong powder charge. When it hit hard. Enemies fell. Horses dropped. The sound and flash alone were enough to scare opponents before the bullet even arrived. Mounted troops trusted this revolver during fast-moving charges. It could survive dust, rain, and hard riding. Stories from the frontier describe these guns being used as clubs after all shots were fired, then still working afterward. That kind of toughness built a terrifying reputation. But the Dragoon was not perfect. Its size made it slow to draw. Carrying it on the belt was uncomfortable. It demanded strength and confidence from its owner. Still, for those who could handle it, 13. Smith & Wesson Model 1. The beginning of the cartridge age. This revolver was small, but its impact was enormous. The Smith & Wesson Model 1 did not rely on loose powder or caps. Instead, it used a metal cartridge that held everything in one piece. This single change ended an era. The revolver was chambered in a small caliber, making it easy to carry and quick to use. While it lacked raw power, it offered something more important. Speed and simplicity. Load the rounds and the gun was ready. No extra tools. No loose parts. This design forced other gun makers to wait or fall behind. For years, only this company could legally produce revolvers that fired metal cartridges. That delay kept older designs alive longer than they should have lasted. 12. Colt Army 1860. The soldier's survival tool. When soldiers demanded more power than earlier revolvers could provide, this was the answer. The Colt Army 1860 combined heavy firepower with balance and control. It fired a .44 caliber round capable of stopping a threat with a single solid hit. This revolver felt right in the hand. It pointed naturally. It allowed fast follow-up shots without losing control. Soldiers trusted it in chaotic fights where fear and noise made fine aim difficult. After the war, thousands of these revolvers moved west with veterans. These men already knew how to use them. They had fired them in desperation and lived. On the frontier, that experience mattered more than reputation. The long barrel offered good accuracy, allowing threats to be handled before they got too close. Homesteaders used it to defend land. Travelers used it to protect their lives. 11. Colt Navy 1851. The perfect balance. Some weapons feel alive in the hand. The Colt Navy was one of them. It balanced power, accuracy, and control better than almost any revolver of its time. Chambered in .36 caliber, it delivered enough force to stop a man while remaining easy to shoot accurately. This made it deadly in fast fights where calm aiming was impossible. Famous fighters carried it, but so did ordinary men. Its reliability and handling earned loyalty across the frontier. When drawn, it felt natural. When fired, it went where it was aimed. Many owners personalized their revolvers with engravings and special grips. But beneath the decoration was a serious weapon. It had already proven itself in battle and continued to do so in civilian hands. This revolver became trusted because it did not demand strength or size. It demanded skill. And in the hands of someone who practiced, it was deadly. As the frontier grew harsher, gunfighters learned a hard lesson. Fancy guns did not matter. Strong guns did. A revolver that bent, cracked, or failed was worse than useless. These next weapons earned their place because they refused to break. They were built to survive dirt, abuse, and constant use. When everything else failed, these revolvers kept firing. Stay with this story till the end, because strength and speed now began to rule the West. 10. Remington New Model Army. The Unbreakable Fighter. This revolver was built like a block of steel. Unlike other designs that relied on loose parts to hold everything together, this one used a solid frame that locked the cylinder tightly in place. That single choice made it incredibly strong. Chambered in .44 caliber, It matched the power of other military revolvers, but could safely handle heavier loads. Shooters knew they could push this revolver harder without fear. That confidence mattered in life or death moments. The solid frame also improved accuracy. The barrel did not shift. The cylinder stayed aligned. Shots went where they were aimed, even after heavy use. For professional fighters, that reliability meant survival. Many gunfighters trusted this revolver because it worked even when dirty. Dust, sweat, and rough handling did not stop it. While it was heavier than some rivals and slower to reload, it made up for that with absolute dependability. When a man carried this revolver, he carried certainty. 9. Colt Lightning, the double-action speed beast. Speed became deadly when this revolver appeared. The Colt Lightning allowed a shooter to fire again and again with a simple pull of the trigger. No hammer pulling. No pause. Just constant fire. In close fights, this changed everything. While others prepared their next shot, the Lightning was already firing again. That advantage ended fights fast. This revolver was chambered in medium calibers, offering a balance between control and stopping power. It was not meant for long-distance shooting. It was meant for sudden violence. Lawmen and gamblers favored this revolver for one reason. When facing more than one enemy, speed mattered more than power. Emptying a cylinder quickly could save your life. But this speed demanded skill. The trigger pull was heavy. Without practice, accuracy suffered. The inner parts were also more complex, requiring care and cleaning. In the right hands, this revolver was terrifying. In the wrong hands, it was wasteful. But those who mastered it gained a deadly edge. 8. LeMat Revolver, the shotgun surprise. This revolver was built by a man who believed 6 shots were not enough. Instead of stopping at a normal design, he added something no one expected. A shotgun hidden inside a revolver. The LeMat carried multiple revolver shots in its cylinder, but beneath them sat a larger smooth barrel loaded with a heavy charge. One pull of the trigger could release a blast strong enough to clear a room. Enemies who counted shots made a deadly mistake. They believed the revolver was empty. Then came the final blast. At close range, it was devastating. This weapon earned a fearsome reputation during wartime. Later, it moved into civilian hands where lawmen and dangerous men valued its surprise power. Just knowing an opponent carried one caused hesitation. But the revolver had flaws. It was heavy. The design was complex. Dirt and dust could cause problems. Carrying it daily was uncomfortable. Still, when that final barrel fired, the fight usually ended immediately. 7. Merwin and Hulbert Revolver, the fast reload miracle. Reloading used to be slow and dangerous. Empty cases had to be removed one by one. That weakness killed many men. This revolver solved that problem in a brilliant way. With a simple twist and pull of the barrel, fired cases dropped free while unused rounds stayed in place. This meant faster reloads and less wasted ammunition. No other revolver offered this advantage. Chambered in a powerful cartridge also used by rifles, this revolver allowed shooters to carry fewer types of ammo. That simplicity mattered during long journeys and extended fights. Accuracy was excellent. The barrel locked tightly in place, giving consistent shots even after heavy use. Skilled gunfighters trusted it because it performed exactly the same every time. The downside was complexity. Repairs were difficult. Replacement parts were hard to find. Learning the reload system required practice. But once mastered, this revolver offered one of the fastest reloads the frontier had ever seen. 6. Smith & Wesson Model 3, the fastest hand in the West. This revolver changed how gunfights were fought. Instead of loading one round at a time, it opened from the top and ejected all empty cases at once. Reloading was fast, clean, and simple. A fighter could open the revolver, drop in fresh rounds, close it, and fire again before others finished removing their first empty case. That advantage was deadly. Chambered in a powerful cartridge, this revolver hit hard at close range. It was accurate, reliable, and well built. Many experienced fighters recognized its value immediately. This revolver also traveled far beyond the frontier. Its design was so advanced that foreign armies adopted it. Eventually, many of these revolvers returned to American soil and found their way into civilian hands. The weakness was durability. The complex design required care. If something broke far from help, repairs were difficult. Still, for those who kept it clean and trained with it, this revolver offered unmatched speed. 5. Colt Walker, the handheld cannon. This revolver was enormous. It was heavy. It was powerful beyond reason. The Colt Walker was built to dominate mounted combat and crush enemies with sheer force. Firing a massive .44 caliber load, this revolver could drop a man or a horse with a single shot. The impact was shocking. The sound alone caused fear. Rangers who carried this weapon believed in it completely. Drawing it changed the mood of any fight. Enemies knew they faced something different. But the power came at a cost. The revolver was too heavy for normal carry. It required special holsters. Worse, the heavy powder charges sometimes damaged the gun itself. Only a limited number were made, making it rare even in its own time. 4. Smith & Wesson Schofield, the cavalry favorite. This revolver was built for one clear purpose: fast reloading under pressure. The Schofield used a top brake design that allowed all empty cases to eject at once. Reloading took moments. Soldiers valued this advantage deeply. In combat, stopping to reload meant exposure. This revolver reduced that danger. It fired a powerful cartridge designed to work smoothly with its system. The balance felt right. The action was smooth. The accuracy was more than enough for close and medium fights. Lawmen and criminals both recognized its value. Rapid reloads meant sustained fire. Sustained fire meant control of the situation. 3. Colt Buntline Special, the long-range menace. This revolver looked wrong to most people. The barrel was long. Too long. But that length gave it a deadly purpose. The extended barrel allowed bullets to travel faster and straighter. Accuracy improved. Shots reached farther. At distances where other revolvers struggled, this one performed. Stories grew around this weapon. Tales of deadly accuracy and calm shooters made it famous. Whether every story was true did not matter. The fear was real. 2. Colt Single Action Army, the Peacemaker. No list of Wild West revolvers is complete without this one. Introduced in 1873, the Colt Single Action Army became the standard by which all revolvers were judged. Chambered in the powerful .45 Colt cartridge, it delivered incredible stopping power. One well-placed shot could end a fight instantly. Its smooth single-action mechanism allowed precise control, giving shooters confidence under pressure. Famous figures carried it: lawmen, gamblers, and outlaws alike. Its balance made it feel like an extension of the hand. The Peacemaker was not just a tool, it was a statement. 1. Matched pairs, the 12-shot killer. The deadliest concept in the Wild West was not a single revolver. It was two revolvers, perfectly matched. The most skilled fighters did not rely on one gun. They carried a pair, doubling firepower and eliminating vulnerability during reloads. Imagine a gunfighter drawing both guns at once. 12 shots ready to fire. That kind of firepower terrified opponents, even before a single round hit. Lawmen and outlaws alike recognized the advantage immediately. Carrying a matched pair required training, strength, and discipline. Reloading two guns, maintaining aim with both hands, and surviving high-pressure fights demanded mastery. Only the best could use this method effectively. Legends like Wild Bill Hickok made matched pairs famous. His uncanny ability to draw and fire both revolvers with deadly accuracy was nearly supernatural. For enemies, seeing a gunfighter with twin revolvers meant one thing: death was likely, hesitation deadly. This concept combined skill, strategy, and equipment into a single unstoppable system. It was the ultimate evolution of frontier combat. From the innovative Star to the legendary Peacemaker to the matched pair, these 20 revolvers were not toys. They were survival tools, fear machines, and symbols of a harsh era. Every design reflected a philosophy: speed, power, precision, or intimidation. Each weapon shaped the West in its own deadly way. Whether you are fascinated by history, strategy, or engineering, these revolvers show how necessity and innovation met in the hands of men living on the edge. They prove that survival was not about luck. It was about skill, equipment, and making the most of every second. If you found this journey through Wild West firepower fascinating, make sure to subscribe for more stories of weapons, warriors, and history that shaped the world. Every gun, every fight, and every legend has a story worth knowing.